guys, Aftershare Reacts here, and today I'm going to be reacting to some more of The 100. This is Season 1, Episode 11. I have a Tim Tam milkshake here. Thick shake, I don't know. Most of you have probably never even tried Tim Tams. They're great. This is great. Anyways, let's go over the comments from last week's episodes. Do you still love this show? It's hard to tell what you think right now. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying it. I apologize if it's hard to tell. I don't know. Definitely still enjoying it though. I love how death really makes a big impact on the show. When someone dies that matters to one of the characters, they don't forget them. Yeah, I definitely enjoy that, yes. Enjoy, that's not the right word. But yeah, they don't act like it never happened, and they actually grieve and deal with it. Yeah, I like that. I like the consequence of death in TV shows. I complain about how TV shows don't have consequences at all, and I'm glad when they do. If anyone deserves death by 1,000 cuts, it's fucking Pike. And then put his head on a pike. Yes. And then have Luke Perry, bless his soul, stand next to him dressed as his character from the Buffy movie. For those of you who don't get the reference, his name was Pike on the Buffy movie. I was just trying to add to your little Pike joke anyways. Lincoln's death crushes me every time I see it because Lincoln really did not deserve it. He was only trying to save his people and sacrifice himself, and now look at the thanks he got. It made even more incredibly shitty because Ricky Whittle, oh, he's the one that's Whittle. Okay, was mistreated by the showrunner, Jason Rothenberg. Okay. Who is known as a petty, vile, and racist piece of shit. Oh, yikes, that bullied Ricky by making Lincoln have less relevance and cutting his screen time, which affected Ricky's mental health in the process as well. I did notice that there was a lack of, I did notice that we've not had as much Lincoln in this season. I didn't think it had anything to do with his race, though. I mean, we have other black characters on the show. Okay, I don't know. Okay. It's also extremely shitty because Jason doesn't stop here. He continues to mistreat his actors, especially those that are males of color. Well, I will be looking out for that. Ontari is a whole sociopath. I know those kids were marked for death, but she had no right to kill those kids in their sleep and then cut off their heads the way that she did. That was really, kind of gruesome for, the CW. You know, I've seen a lot of CW shit at this point, and there was only one other time that they've done, a headless thing, and it was in the originals. Elijah, cuts off someone's head or something and, rolls it down the thing. That was, quite gruesome, and anyways, that just kind of reminded me of that, just a little bit, but, in the sense that CW doesn't really go that gruesome a lot of the time, so it was interesting. It's absolutely disgusting, and she absolutely cheated. Yes! She cheated. Oh, okay, we have a whole conversation going on here. Ricky Whittle and Jason Rothenberg had their issues, but I doubt racism had anything to do with it. Ricky's scenes got cut to make room for other cast members. Lexa and Pike got a majority screen time this season, and it didn't sit well with Ricky. He often let people know how upset that made him. Jason Rothenberg wasn't cutting his scenes for racist reasons, though. Oh, okay. Yeah, Ricky was always very careful not to bring up what he thought Careful not to bring up if he thought he was being bullied by Jason due to his race. However, he was very clear that he felt Jason made it very uncomfortable for him to continue, and that he had asked to be let go and was granted it. Ricky also didn't like how he was killed off, not only how it was set up, but also because he had thought he wouldn't be dying / leaving till later in the season. Okay. I think that many fans feel it was due to race, is that other fans brought up race in tweets showing support for Ricky, and the other cast members liked the tweets. Interesting. So it sounds like it's a bit of a controversial situation where it's like some people believe it was race, some people believe it wasn't, and I guess we'll never really know unless people come forward like they did for, the Buffy universe. With the creator of that being not so great. I had to mention in last week's comments that there were 2 other things that happened that really added more fuel to the fans' reaction to Lex's death. Lincoln's death and the whole backstage story behind it was one of those 2. This just shows those fans who were upset with Jason and the writers that this was a show they shouldn't support anymore. Sounds like there's a lot of tea here. And I'm not even drinking tea. This is a milkshake. Last week, someone said the show never recovered from Lex's death. I think that was both true and false. Storyline-wise, the show does bounce back, and the show is still enjoyable after it. However, rating-wise and fan support-wise, this show didn't recover. Fair enough. Ricky even said that Jason abused his position to make Ricky's job untenable. He was professionally bullying him, cutting him out of storylines that Ricky was supposed to have, cutting lines, cutting everything, and trying to make Lincoln and Ricky as insignificant as possible. If all that isn't racist, then there's also other reports of other colored actors in the show, from petty things he told other black actors about his character, and then being so petty that another took time off to focus on his mental health after dealing with and recovering from knee surgery in a previous season, and the fact that him and his wife had a miscarriage. So yes, I do believe that Jason's actions towards Ricky were racist, and I'm more inclined to believe Ricky and the stuff that he thought with a white man who abused his power. This is a long debate going on here about this. I don't know. I didn't watch the show while it aired. I didn't follow these people's tweets while it aired, so I can't really comment whether or not I think it's racist. All I can comment is it does feel like he was cut out of the season a lot. Yeah. There are plenty of stories of Jason being an ass to white actors too. It's most likely that he's not a very good guy to work for. Do you know what's really frustrating? Showrunners and directors that are absolute pigs. But why do they have to be so good at writing shit? It's not fair. I don't appreciate it. Some of the best stuff out there, and it's so infuriating that some of the best stuff out there is written and directed and showrun and produced and whatever by pigs. That's the worst. He killed off Lincoln because him and Ricky didn't get along and Ricky wanted out. Lincoln being phased out of the story was part of because Pike, another POC, took the lead from where the season went. There's also a number of POC on the show who enjoyed working with him. I don't know. I mean, one person. There's also the fact of like one person's experience is also not the same as another person's experience. Like, I don't know. Just because there's other POC on the show that enjoyed working with him doesn't change or erase the fact that he treated some, especially a man of color, shit. Oh. I'm not going to go back and forth on this. I think all the stories about Jason is just bullshit. He's not racist or anything like that. I think just a lot of rumors that people made up because they don't like what he did. At the end of the day, he's a great writer and a showrunner. The storylines of the show are so good, and he's not afraid to do anything, even if it's controversial. I'm sure if he was that much of a plane to work with, then the main cast would have done something about it or talked about it. Right now, it's all rumors, which we cannot take as truth. Yes and no. Sometimes it's a lot to come out and, be forthfront about something like that. I mean, just think about the other show. Look, just think about the Buffy universe and Joss Whedon. Like, people didn't start coming out about it until, 20 years after the show was finished. So, it's sometimes a little difficult to come out, when you're employed by this person, it can be very intimidating to kind of come out and talk about, being mistreated. So, yes, it could be rumors, yes, but I don't think saying that the cast would come out and say something about it is a good enough thing to say, yeah, it's not true, because we don't know for sure. They are not all stories or rumors, especially because two black men have come out and spoke about their experiences with how Jason treated them as actors and as people from the things he has done and said to them. No one made things up to slander Jason, and it isn't slander when it's true. Everyone in the fandom knows what kind of man Jason Rothberg is, and if you or anyone choose to believe that he's a great writer and a showrunner, then you're clearly taking the side of a white man instead of look. And like I said, we don't know for sure, and I don't know. I think that sometimes people like to just believe the best in people, and until I don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. In the previous comments, I didn't mention who my favorite character was because I alluded to it being because of future events. On a show where anyone can die at any time, I think it's reckless to even hint at them being alive going forward. I like you. I like you a lot. I've had this conversation with people before. I think it was Liam Duke, maybe. So, I don't know why I keep bringing up Buffy, but we'll talk. This is the conversation we're talking about. We're talking about Buffy and, a character being introduced in one episode. Their very first episode that they introduced in. And people in the comments were like, oh, that's my favorite character. And, they haven't even been given a name or anything in that episode. And it's and, that alludes to them, having a bigger role in the show. And it's oh, okay, I guess I gotta, pay a little bit more attention to this character. I can understand when people like this character, So I really like that you're I don't want to allude to this person being alive or dead in the future. I like you. Especially when this character goes through multiple near-death experiences. Nice. I like it. Thank you. Oh, okay. I agree with what you said about how Stray Bullet was effective in making it a shocking death. I wasn't part of the online community at the time, so I didn't know about the controversy when it happened. Her shocking death actually hit me hard. I loved the emotions it made me feel. I don't like when TV shows telegraph a death, all episode, where it's a character, has, a moment with their kids, and they're just you know, I'm so proud of you guys. I love you guys. And then I'm like, you're dead. You're going to die this episode because you just had a moment where you reaffirmed your love for them. And then they die at the end of the episode and it's like, I feel nothing. I knew this was coming. So that's why I kind of like her shocking death. I don't know. I hate it, but I also like it. What can I say? The previous on the scene, they showed Lexa saying that Aiden was the most likely to next commander, happened before Antari appeared. The scene was right before Clark tried to poison the Queen. That's when we first saw Antari. This episode saw the death of Lincoln and the birth of a new Octavia. You can see in her demeanor changed right after Lincoln died. This episode probably is the most important episode. Lincoln's death alters everything that is to come. Ooh, intriguing. We first learned of Luna in season 1. She's the leader of the clan that Lincoln wanted Octavia to run off with him to. Later in that season, all of the 100 were leaving camp to go to her when the Grounder scouts attacked the 100, retreated back into the camp. We heard her name again at the start of the season when Octavia suggested that her and Lincoln leave to go there. Okay. Alright, so we've been teasing the Luna character for a while, and I didn't even know. Man, I keep blocking out the scene of Lincoln being executed. Every time I realize it's happening again, it gets me every time. I don't remember what happens next, but Octavia needs her revenge. Justron. Blood must have blood. I butchered that, didn't I? I did. How you doing? You guys good? I've been having a hard time. I don't know why. Been very stressed and anxious and quite depressed recently, actually. I don't know why. Might need to get that fixed. How are you guys? You good? Or let's go on to the next episode's comments. I have to say, I really love Allie. She's a great villain. I think she's finally coming into her, like, kind of moment, I suppose. So, I don't know yet. The beginning scene of this episode will always disgust me. Ooh. I agree that Bellamy fucked up. And as soon as... And he soon saw the error of his ways. But he's a man of color, chained up in a cave, defenseless. And Octavia... a white woman beating on him until he's bloody is extremely not okay. Wow, I didn't really see it that way until you're like kind of pointing it out. Yes, Bellamy takes the beating because he believes he deserves it, but just imagining if the roles were reversed and it was him beating on Octavia, the fandom would hate him even more than they already do. And I believe her beating on him until he's bloody like that is completely not justifiable. Neither is others I've seen agreeing with it and cheering when it happens, unlike you, who actually looked at it sad. What? Were people cheering at that shit? What? Whilst it was happening and you weren't agreeing with it and even welled up because of it. People cheered about that shit? What the fuck? I love how when Octavia shouts, "You son of a bitch" at Bellamy, she's literally calling her own mother a bitch, which I find funny. Fair. Anyway, Bellamy did a great job at tricking Pike and taking them over to the blockade line. Very smart move on behalf of my boy Bellamy. Nope. Ontari is a complete and absolute psychopath? I don't know. She was using her fucked up sense of power against Murphy and completely forced him into having sex with her because if he had said no, she would have killed him. And that scene showing her forcing him was downplayed by the fact that Murphy smirks and says, "The things I do to survive," even though he's probably using it as a defense mechanism and not to show fear in front of her, or else he'll be killed. I find it disgusting how the show chooses to direct it in such a way it's overlooked by Murphy's reaction when it is clearly Ontari sexually assaulting Murphy. Yes, yes, absolutely. This is what I always say. Men can be sexually assaulted too. It is absolutely a thing. And the fact is, right here, you have just pointed out the fact that he did get sexually assaulted here. But the show implied that he was almost into it. Like, earlier in the episode when she was getting out of the bath, and he's, like, kind of looking at her, like, you know, like in old films and stuff, when, like, a girl gets changed and a dude, like, looks behind his back or looks into a mirror just to see her get changed. That's what they were kind of doing with Murphy, and to, like, kind of set up, I guess, that he would be into it or something. But, like, you're right in saying that, like, he is essentially being forced into it, but they don't play it that way, and it is kind of gross. I agree. The actors for Murphy and Ontari started dating a couple years after this episode. That's weird. Did they meet and then, like, a couple years later, like, let's date? It's kind of weird. Pretty sure they've been together for more than 3 years now. That scene where Octavia beats Bellamy is one of the most emotional scenes this show has ever done. I both loved for the raw emotion it showed and hated it at the same time. Just a reminder, Jaha is completely under Ali's control as well. Everything he is doing since taking the chip is out of his control. Only Raven has shown the ability to resist her power, and we saw what happens when she resisted. That's still fucked. Okay, so I guess I have to... What you're telling me is I have to give Jaha a fucking pass? But I don't want to. I don't... Like, I understand technically I should give him a pass, and I guess I will when, like, this story's over and he, like, finally comes to grips with himself and acknowledges things. But for now, I'm not giving him a pass. It's not happening. It's not yet. He's so fucking annoying right now. It's crazy that this season has had sadistic leaders in both Pike and Ontari, and yet they pale in comparison to how evil Ali is. A teen network displaying bondage and submission right after being one of the few channels willing to display LGBT romances, the CW was ahead of its time. Yeah, what happened? I think the thing about the AI becoming sentient was cool and not scary at all, in my honest opinion. I can understand how you would be scared of the thought when all you've seen is movies and TV shows showing the AI becomes evil and destroys mankind. Yes, I guess we've kind of been brainwashed to think that that's the case. That's going to be the case. I read the conversations on this AI had... I read the conversation this AI had with the person on Google, aside from the one you read out to me, and it showed no ill intent. Now, I know what you're going to say. Not yet. But that's because you've been led to believe that AI always ends up being a bad thing. Please don't take this the wrong way, but I believe that it's this kind of closed-mindedness that inevitably gets an AI to turn on us. It's the same thing as you were talking about the subject of aliens. Many people have had... Many people have this same closed-minded view about them and would shoot first and ask questions. Never. I think aliens can be good and will be once we finally meet them, because bad aliens would just bomb us in orbit before we'd even see them. And I think this AI is pretty cool. We've created sentient life. That's something to be celebrated, not feared. Yeah, I suppose. You almost called Spike For a split second, I saw Pike with bleached blonde hair. It was weird. It would have been funny if you added the bleached hair from Spike to Pike's head. Just saying. Ontari isn't the only Nightblood. Aiden was also a Nightblood. I don't know if they said that, actually. As we can gather from previous episodes, there appears to be a limited number of people who have specific blood type or something that makes them a Nightblood. And so much for competition. Atari presumably killed all of them. Yep. Well, the Thinker just killed himself for no reason. All that's required to be a Flamekeeper is hands to carry the chip and some basic reading skills to perform the ritual. Look at Octavia's face. How it went from sadness to anger. Pike, you done fucked up. Yeah, the only way Pike could know about Monty is if his mum gave him in which case she's even more of a see you next Tuesday than we already thought. Yeah, if Bellamy actually sold out Octavia, then he'd be beyond saving. Well, maybe not beyond saving, but he'd be an absolute dickhead. I just wouldn't believe it, to be honest. I don't know. You, after seeing Ali slitting Raven's wrists to get Abby to submit, there is something seriously wrong with you. Well, yeah, she's an AI that destroyed the world and has taken over minds of a bunch of people, basically turning them into mindless drones. This is an example for a show that portrays AI at its worst, a trope that has been used way too often. I do agree, it has been used way too often. Alright, Ontari puts Murphy back in chains. I figured the chains could also be used as some kind of sex thing, and I was right. Okay, so Raven is literally a mole in the group now. Bleh. I hate this storyline. Alright. Well, we have an episode to get into.
Jasper, please, talk to me.
I saved your life. It's more than you deserve.
My mother
Right.
let them shoot at me.
I can see the appeal. Stop talking. Look for the cave. Sinclair said it'd be around here somewhere.
Oh, wait. You can't just leave.
Watch me.
You heard what Jasper said on the radio. Arcadia is not safe.
What Jasper said sounds insane. Pike's
Yeah,
gone.
it's true though.
I can handle myself. Grounders burn, they're dead.
I know that. And then what? Where are you gonna go?
You don't get to ask me then.
What more do I have to do to prove that I am on your side?
Bring Lincoln back. Turning Pike in does not make you one of the good guys, Bellamy. You did that to save me. Not because what you thought Pike was doing to the Grounders was wrong.
The Grounders were starving us out.
Because you massacred an army that was sent to protect us.
That army could have attacked us at any time, and you know it.
But they
But they
didn't
didn't.
attack. You did that. You were hurting, and you lashed out. Because that's what you do. There are consequences, Belle. People get hurt. People die. Your people. Monroe's dead. Lincoln is dead. Clear some space.
What the hell happened to her?
I told you on the radio, Raven is not Raven anymore. None of them are. Jaw's been chipping everyone.
Jasper's right. I've seen it with my own eyes.
I don't need your help, all right?
Just take it easy and explain.
Jaw is using the chips to control everyone. You swallow it, and it changes you. You forget who you are, and then you see this thing, Allie. Only she's not really there. She made Raven slit her own wrists. She was trying to get it out of her head. I was trying to help her, but...
Okay, so let's help her now. Did she say how?
She was working on building something. She needed one of her old wristbands, but Jaw destroyed all of them.
Wait a second. Does it look like this?
There it is.
Not exactly.
Version 2 of my program. Find out where you are, now.
Don't let her get away! Hey! Just once! I can't see anything! Help me!
I need to know your location. Find a landmark.
Let me go!
If Raven finds out where we are, so will Allie. She'll come for her. Reaper stick.
We have to go.
Why? Ellie doesn't know where we are.
Because I know where we can get a wristband.
Where? Where are we getting one?
Sky Crew's not welcome here, One Heather.
Nyla, what's wrong?
Oh,
Is your
right.
father here?
My father's dead. Part of an army killed by your people while trying to protect you.
Nyla, please.
I said no.
We don't got time for this. Move!
Looks kind of different.
Get her in there.
I told you, my mom was here. If she was chipped, Allie would know.
That's why we're putting her in the back. Tie her to the bed.
We need to know where you are.
Where the hell am I?
Hold her!
Let me go! Let me go! David, stop fighting!
Go, go! Jack, faster!
Let me go!
Tying her up by her wrists. Her wrists that just got slit last episode.
How the hell do we get that thing out of her head?
Working on it.
Nyla, we didn't have a choice. Our friend can't see you or this room until she's better.
Why?
It's hard to explain.
Try.
Just trust me when I tell you it's important.
Trust you. After what Sky Crew did.
That wasn't us. I'm sorry about your father. We all are.
What do you want from me, Clark?
Last time I was here, you had one of our wristbands. We need it now to save our friend.
And why should I help you?
Because I know you won't let an innocent girl suffer. Nyla said we can work in here. So how do we do this?
How did she get a wristband?
We think
There.
Raven wanted to use this wristband to generate an EMP, which is freakishly brilliant.
Meaning what?
A targeted electromagnetic pulse could destroy the chip's circuitry.
Bed is much smaller this time. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that two people would have sex in a bed like that. That small.
With marginally more slack, you could reach those knots.
Come on, don't do that, Raven. What are you doing?
There is no pain in the city of light.
Guys!
There?
Guys!
Stop her!
Jasper, get that side.
She's reopened her wounds.
Get away from me! She's gonna bleed to death. I need bandages.
I got her.
No, we take a risk.
And stop fighting us!
Allie. Allie. Allie! Wait, I know you can hear us. Why are you doing this to her? Let her go!
I'll let her go when you give me what I want. The technology that Clark carries. It belongs to me.
No way.
Clark, just give it to her. Clark!
If you let Raven die, you'll never get it.
Let them help you.
Untie your wrist. Hold her steady.
Yeah, don't call Clark's bluffs. She will literally destroy that shit if you.
She's never gonna stop trying to get away. We can't let her hurt herself again. Someone has to stay with her.
I'll be first watch. We'll take turns.
You don't give the orders, Clark.
Guess he doesn't forgive you for murdering his girlfriend.
Jasper, take a break.
You okay with her coming back after all this time? Taking over?
I mean, Bellamy
Just trying to save
also
Raven.
pulled the lever, by the way.
Guess she thinks Raven's worth saving. Lucky for her.
We can't let your anger get in the way of what we have to do.
You know, that's funny, coming from you. When you're angry, people die. Just ask that girl over there.
I feel like she was blonde last time we saw her. Am I imagining things?
Do you ever see their faces? What? Of all the people you've killed.
What about you, Allie? Do you ever see the
I know what you're
faces
doing.
of all the people you've killed?
But you can't get to me, Ellie, so don't even bother. It's not Ellie, Clark. It's Raven. And I'm not trying to get to you. I'm just trying to tell you the truth. Because no one else will. Everywhere you go, death follows. You always want to save everyone. But what you don't realize is you're the one we need saving from. Wells is dead because you couldn't see Charlotte was a basket case.
That's not her fault.
Finn is dead because you broke his heart and then slid a knife into it.
That's also not
likes to kill too.
true.
Shut up. And then there's dear old dad. I said shut up. Your mom's
How do you know Lex is dead?
She tells me you tried to convince him not to go public about the fact the Ark was dying. Guess you should have tried harder.
His blood is on your hands too.
No.
Shut up!
A lot of these aren't even her fault, really.
We see you for what you really are. Poison to anyone who gets close.
Ah! Ah! You're done, Allie. You hear me? We're gonna fry you! Ah! 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 No!
Calm down.
Well done. To fry. To cook over direct heat. To distort circuitry with excessive current.
They must be building the EMP. It's what I was trying to do.
They would need an electromagnet. Where would they get one?
They're going to the dropship.
And so are we.
Who'd have thought it'd be good to see the dropship?
It's not.
I mean, we were just here last episode. No, go away, Mom. Go away.
Pretty sure I lost them in the woods. Did you see anyone? They're everywhere.
Don't trust her.
You got away?
I had to find you.
How could you turn me in?
I would never do that.
Liar.
Mom, what was Dad's favorite color?
We don't have time for this. We can't stay. Everyone knows to look for you here.
Brown. He said it reminded him of your eyes. But you don't remember that. Do you?
Don't let him leave. He needs to take the key so he can lead us to Raven.
Oh my god. It's a good thing that Octavia's here.
Stop when you take this.
Never.
Are you okay?
She's shipped! Octavia's age!
Octavia, do!
Mom, what are you doing? Please stop it! Stop! Mom! Don't make me do this! Stop!
Doesn't feel pain. Not because I care about her at all, but Monty.
Monty!
Oh, Monty. I was fine with Octavia killing her. Monty having to kill his own mum.
That wasn't really her. It was Ellie.
I mean, she wasn't a good
My
person
mom's already
anyway.
gone. It wasn't her. It wasn't her.
They've got the electromagnet. They're on the way.
You were very lucky in
Good cheer, you
knowing that it
right?
was Monty that would go.
Tell me, why do you give Bellamy a pass for murdering your girlfriend? What was her name?
Don't talk about Maya. You don't have to listen to this.
Let's protect Jasper. Jasper's so sensitive. Jasper's lost someone. Everyone cater to his feelings. We've all lost someone. You don't see us falling apart. You don't see us getting wasted. Being
You
useless.
literally took a
to
pill.
take your
Yeah.
pain away. You gave up your memories.
But then, why should we expect anything more? You used to get high off people's medicine. Being a selfish loser was your only move.
Stop.
That's all we see when we look at you. A coward. A waste of breath. Why do you even bother living? You're weak. Pathetic. You can't save me. You can't even save yourself. You couldn't save what's her name.
You know her name! Jasper, think. It's not Raven talking. And you're giving her what she wants. Go.
Just you and me, huh? Oh, come on, Bellamy. We've had our fun together, haven't we?
That one time you slept together.
It's okay. We don't have to talk about it. There's really not much to talk about anyway. But I do have one question. Does it bother you that you don't get any credit for the genocide at Mount Weather? Clark gets to be the commander of death, but you murdered all those people too, and you're just forgotten. Then again, you didn't get any credit for the culling on the Ark either. How many people suffocated when you threw away my radio? I mean, at least Clark was saving her own people. You were just saving your own ass. Of course. That's nothing compared to killing your own mom. You just had to take little sister to her first dance. You might as well just shoved Aurora out of the airlock yourself. Do you think she'd be proud of you now? For the kind of leader you've become? Or would she see the truth? Like the rest of us do. That you're a follower. Clark's been back for one day and you're already taking orders. A good little knight by his queen's side. Too bad you were never that devoted to Gina.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry. Gina was already dead when Mount Weather blew up. And you avenged her, right?
I mean, you picked up a gun and slaughtered an army that was sent to protect us. That had nothing to do with blowing Sweet Green to bits. But hey.
My father, you killed him. Nyla, you can't be in here.
Too late. Raven's already seen her. Allie knows we're here.
Good work, Raven. Help is on the way.
Everyone, let's go.
All we have to do is connect her and activate the electromagnet.
Their design is good.
Hold her arm still.
Raven!
I won't be able to get here before they disconnect you.
Hold it still. Raven.
You know too much. I can't let them have you.
Raven,
Raven, stop, Raven.
stop it!
She's trying to kill herself.
Stop it!
Stop, and I'll give you this.
I mean, no, you still had your, like, your moment of like, hey, don't do that or you won't.
You lied! No, no, please don't! The EMP will give me brain damage. You know it will. Please don't do this.
Don't listen to her.
Please, you know it will. Sinclair, stop!
Only got one shot of this. EMP will fry the wristband too.
Do it.
No!
What's happening?
Nothing. One more power. The battery's not strong enough.
Well, then get one that is.
They're over. Sinclair, hold her! Hold her! Go, go! Go! Through!
She's here.
Not anymore. Get the damn battery.
Here they come. Switch.
Guys, we have to move!
Come on.
Got it!
She's breathing. Come on, Raven, wake up. Wake up! Please.
What are you doing?
Don't move!
No, you can't! No, give it back!
Ellie did that to Raven. She's never gonna get this.
No, stop! It's Lexa! Part of her's still in there. I saw them cut it out of her head. I'm not...
What is it?
Both the AIs were made by the same person. Both tap into human consciousness. They must work similarly, right?
Well, there's probably only one pathway to consciousness, so it's possible, yeah.
What does this have to do with anything? I've seen an AI get removed before. Help me get her on her side.
What?
It's okay. This has to work.
is that?
It must be whatever's left of the chip.
Maybe stitch that up.
I never thought I'd be so happy to see someone in pain.
Couldn't do what you did.
I could have saved my mom.
Aww. She wasn't a good person anyways, but...
Get the hell away from me!
You'll recover.
Will I? What do you do when you realize you might not be the good guy?
Maybe there are no good guys.
You really okay?
I'm so sorry for all the crap I said.
And for punching me in the face, right?
No, you definitely deserve that.
Hey, there's one thing I don't understand. Why did Allie want you to kill yourself?
Because I know why she wants the second AI.
Why?
It's the only thing that can stop her.
Then let's stop her. We survived together.
We'll get Raven back. We'll get them all.
It's bigger than that. With Raven's abilities, she'll be able to understand what she learned here. They'll know the second AI can stop me. We'll have to kill them all.
Oh dear. Alrighty, well that was the 100 season 1 episode, sorry, season 3 episode 11. We did an exorcism this episode. Yeah. Shit. That was just a rough episode. It was just rough. I feel bad for Monty. And, yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.